Hello and welcome to JK, It's Not About You. I'm Jen Rouse.
And I'm Kelly Mirko, and we're your hosts. We're new empty nesters, and we're here to talk about what the next chapter looks like.
For so long, we were taxi drivers,
Domestic engineers, chefs,
tutors, cheerleaders,
and everything else that goes along with being a parent.
No days off, no paid vacation, and very limited time to pursue our own passions. It just wasn't about us.
It really wasn't. Join us on this new endeavor as we find passions in all things empty nesting. The little birdies have flown the coop and they're living their best lives, and now it's our turn. We're sweating through our 50s trying to figure it all out.
From resetting on marriage, navigating divorce, dating at 50, we're here to reclaim our calendars, our bodies, and our newly found identities in this confusing yet exciting new phase of life.
So grab your glass of wine or beverage of choice, your cozy sweats, and join us as we unpack all things real in our 50s. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. We have my daughter, Sarah.
Hi.
She's
joining us from
joining
school.
us before she leaves tomorrow. She's heading back.
I know.
To the war zone.
Back to the war zone. I know it's a tough time for California, and I'm not happy about that. And Kelly, we're well into our 75 hard.
We are well into our 75 hard. We're on day 8.
Okay.
9, something like
What
that.
do you think? What do you think? How are you feeling?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
I'm really sore. I can't, it's like, hard to sit down, but I feel good. I feel good. I feel like, I'm changing my routine up a little bit and having to find time for things that maybe I wouldn't have, or I definitely didn't. And I feel like good. I feel strong. I'm eating obviously very clean and working out a ton and getting all the gallon of water and all those little things.
So
it's been good. I think it's a good reset, hard reset.
It is.
Yeah. The outdoor workout is the hardest for me to get in.
Yeah.
For some reason. I mean, I get it in, but yoga's in the morning, and then then your day and work, but
it's
love
kind
it.
It's kind of amazing how much we're exercising for the day. Like,
I know
it's ending up to be hours. It's good. It's good.
I love it. So,
it's been great.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel not really missing drinking yet, not quite yet. I feel like sleep's always a hit or miss for me, but it is a little better. I won't lie.
Okay.
And everything else is like, just, it feels good to have, because I was always, exercising, but not 7 days a week.
No, and not twice a day.
No, and definitely not 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So that's like, I'm finding myself finding different things to do on the mellow days, and I'm going to join you at yoga this week and try that. And
I'm branching out myself.
It's good.
It's good. It is good. Strength is like important,
That's something I need to do more, like weights, You'll see, Sarah, when you get older. Everything's harder. It is.
Well, something's hard. This is,
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. So anyway, well, I think today we're going to talk a little bit about you. I want you to just introduce yourself and to everybody out there and they know a little bit about your condition, but kind of how you grew up and what it is, and that you're not fearful about talking about it, and you actually welcome people's questions and that kind of thing.
Course. My name is Sarah Barber. I'm turning 21 in March. I am a sophomore at Pepperdine University as a chemistry major. I was diagnosed with SMA around 2 years old.
Yep,
right?
on your second birthday.
So it's been a while. It's a genetic mutation. I am type 3, if some of you know what that means. There's ranges from type 0 to type 4. So I'm pretty lucky, very lucky. I was thrown into my first trial when I was around 5 years old. And that was a lumbar puncture every 6 months, which eventually evolved into every 4 months. And I did a myriad of therapies. When I was younger, I did hippotherapy, which is a horseback riding up at the NAC in Park City. I've done swimming, which was very therapeutic. And then, of course, I've done like classical physical therapy.
Yeah. And I feel like,
I've talked about it a lot. I did a speech at Red, White, and Snow when I was very young. I was in an SMA documentary when I was also very young. I think I was kind of thrown into the science world, which kind of, made me more passionate about new technologies and medications that were like, constantly built around me. And I think that's why, that pushed my love for chemistry. And, SMA has been very difficult. It's been a challenge, but I think it's, shaped me into me. And I honestly wouldn't have it any other way.
yeah, it's been a challenge in your life, but you don't really let it stop you.
No, I mean, it's like, obviously I don't think it really, yeah, it's a challenge, but I also just think it forces me to look at things in a different light, in a different way. Like people and like doctors have told me like certain things are impossible. And, like I feel like, I mean, Pepperdine, okay, what girl with a walker would be able to push through and navigate a campus that's literally built on a hill? I've constantly fought that, and I've tried to like push with the accommodation center about like, trying to like rewire and restructure certain things for kids. I mean, I literally just had a battle last year about chemistry, since organic chemistry, which I just took in the fall. We weren't allowed to have lab partners because they want us to gain these lab skills and they want us to be efficient on our own. But, I have a really bad tremor. So I had to be like, hey, like this isn't, and, and the school was more than welcome, more than willing, after I talked to a lot of the chemistry professors, and they got me my own TA that would work beside me. But, like a lot of the time you can't just like sit back and like, you have to speak up and say, hey, I need this, and I think like, and I think if anything, like I've been very, very good at asking for help when I need it.
Yeah, I think you are. You're very assertive.
Very assertive, beyond like very in like the best way. You're always so kind about it, but you ask for help when you need it. And
I do, but I think that's that's a gift that other people do not have and have a very difficult time learning.
yeah.
So, like, I've like had these, tribulations, but I think like a lot of good things have come out of it that a lot of people will never ever see. So, like they will never understand or have, the capacity to understand.
Or the patient.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it, and that's, and like that's fine. They, they have their own forms of learning and paths of learning. And that's okay. Like, that's why people are different. I don't think one is better than the other.
No, I like the way you do it, but you're right. Not one is better than the other. I think another great thing that, I mean, I've seen, so many years of you growing and changing from a little girl to who you are today, which has been just, I'm blessed to be in your life and be able to do that. I could just cry, of course. And what you've also been so great about is just like acknowledging and seeing that other people want to understand what's going on
Yeah.
in your life. Like you've seen, I've been with you. You've seen like a little child or even an adult like looking at you, and you have no problem turning to them and saying,
Of
"Hey,
course not.
yeah." But
I
that's
mean,
so
but, like,
great, Sarah.
but I think it's better for people to be curious. Like I would never shut down someone who asks,
I
like,
know.
what happened? Like skiing accident? Like I get that every time. Like literally I've probably gotten it
Well, you live here.
20 times since skiing. No, just break.
Oh,
Just
really?
being here like probably 20 to 30 times.
Yeah.
Skiing accident, a snowboarding accident, and then, sorry, no.
Yeah.
But but I think like it's better for people to be inquisitive and curious than like, just just assuming that it's a skiing accident. They're curious enough to know.
Absolutely.
And then that, like, then who knows, some of them may jump on their computer that night and look up SMA, and that's another person who is exposed to this rare disease
100%.
and, is now knowledgeable about it,
Yes. But you're willing to talk about it.
Of course.
And you're not turned off by it at 21. Like, I've been answering these questions for so many years. You want more. You want people to be educated. I think
do.
that is just so important, and it's great to have you like be a part of that team, because there's so many people with SMA that need your voice. It's important.
And just I would like you to share with the viewers a little bit about how it was for you growing up socially, and how you could help other kids with maybe challenges that, some insight there, like how you could help say, this helped me a lot in because high school is a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And how that transition to college, happened, and, just something a little along those lines. Cause I think as a parent, we really worry about like your life, and how, Kelly watched me panic a lot, like how you're going to be on your own, and, how you make that and manage that and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Personally, I found high school to be more enjoyable than elementary and middle school. Elementary was very, very difficult for me because, kids run and play. And how are you going to explain, like, to other kids around you that you cannot go down the fire pole? You know what I mean? Like, I would say that was a lot more difficult for me to wrap my head around and get through. But, middle school, then, kids are more sitting at lunch talking on their phones, then it was a little bit easier to relate. And then by high school, so I went to Waterford School in Sandy, Utah, and it was amazing. All the teachers were very passionate about their subjects. And I think that's when I started to focus more on my intelligence and less, on trying to constantly fit in. And, and I think that's better. I think I found like a stronger self-image and a stronger like grasp on who I was at that point. Mm-hmm. I think, I found my more of like a home with like the very like intellectually driven kids rather than, the sport driven kids. And, I grew up with my brother who's, very, very athletic. And, and he's, he and I could not be more different, but, we get along great, and, but I can't go boarding with him. So we have to find other things to bond over. And, and that's going to be life. And I think Waterford also made me very independent. All of the buildings are outside and separated. So during the winter, I had to learn how to navigate through the snow and the ice with my walker and my backpack and make it to classes on time. And, and I think that definitely built a lot of my independence. Obviously I had friends around me that helped, but, I at some point, all my friends were going to different classes, I was alone in some classes, and I had to figure out how to get from point A to point B in this amount of time. And, have enough time to get, in and out of my, and then, in and out of my car alone. And, and I think college, it's been very different. I would say last year I was very, homesick and very, right up until fall break. And then after fall break, I started to get a lot more comfortable, and I wasn't really dying to go home as much.
Yeah. It's hard for everyone.
It is very hard, but then I started to meet friends, and I think college was a lot better too, because a lot of my friends have also faced, not the same tribulations, but very one of my friends had cancer, another, they've all
overcome
a lot of obstacles that a lot of my friends in high school couldn't understand.
Yeah.
And they were compassionate, and and they were, sympathetic, and, but yes, they were empathetic. I won't say they're not empathetic, but, some of my friends in college are way more empathetic because they understand exactly what it's like to be in a hospital for days on end.
Right.
So, and it's a different kind of relationship, and you're constantly being away from home together, and you're like, most of my friends are out of state, so we're like growing together, and we're like figuring out how we fit in within the community, what we want to do. And I mean, it's amazing. I did a Pilates class with one of my friends last year, like my whole friend group. It's really fun. Like, it's just like, you get to finally build like your own independence and your own life there. And I think it's a really beautiful thing.
And you're part of a sorority.
And I'm part of a sorority.
Okay, let's not forget that. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a very big deal.
And you love that. It's just like
anchor down.
Anchor down. Here we go.
But yeah, no, and those girls have been nothing but, empathetic and understanding. There are a lot of sweet girls in my school. And I mean, and Pepperdine has been very supportive, and they've helped me. Again, like they like I didn't know how it was going to be possible for me to stay as a chem major, without the assistants and the lab equipment and the like accommodations that I would need to get through a day in lab,
Mm-hmm.
and they have been the chem department, like specifically, has been very supportive, and like they don't want me leaving, they don't want me going anywhere.
Yeah.
So
And they made things right.
They made
but
things right.
I think like
But the move-in was
hard, and
very hard.
again, like it's been interesting just as your mom, like, and Kelly's been there a lot of your life too. Like just the things we advocated for you when you were little, and trying to educate people. And I would agree with you that I think like the elementary years were the hardest to like
100%.
Navigate. But now you're dating, you're out there, so like to share with people that maybe, thinking about these kinds of things too, like how do you find your way there? Like,
to date?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I think by like maybe like junior year, I started, and maybe like middle sophomore year, I started just being confident with who I was. Like, like it's not like I can hide it, so I might as well just be like own it. Exactly. Like I might as well just like walk in, like be transparent with people, like, hey, this is what I have. Like, if you don't want to talk to me, okay, cool, move on, next chapter. Like, I feel like it's just, and I finally was starting to accept that, like some people who I've cared about throughout my life just do not see me for me. And that's not on me. That's
No.
not on me. Like if they're going to miss that. Then they're going to miss that relationship with me. And they're not going to even have the chance to get to know me. And, and that's okay. Like I've just kind of come to peace with that. And, like that's why, and, and I've had some good relationships now. So, and they've seen me for me, and they like who I am. They enjoy being around me. And, like, but honestly, then it like, I feel like if anything, it does me, some good, because it's like, I get to weed out the people who are, shallow, and they won't care to get to know me. So
as Elias would say, they add zero value.
Zero value to my life.
Zero value
Nothing.
to your life.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I think you weed out a lot of the
really
selfish
lucky,
people. Yeah.
Like I get really lucky. I mean, like, and like, I think, and I think like those people, the people who actually do see something in me, they see way more than like, they see what my friends see, and they see, like they don't see what like a person on the street walking sees, you know what I mean? And, and I think that's a really special thing. And I think that's, like, I don't want people to ever be discouraged just because they have, a walking aid or a, some form of, disability or accommodation, that they won't find something. Because it is out there, and maybe you're just surrounding yourself with the wrong people. And, and that's what I figured out. And
we need that I mean,
but that's just a motto for life, know? And, but like, like I like to blame my disability, because, because I wouldn't have as many friends, or because, like, oh, this boy didn't like me back, or, like I usually liked to have my disabilities out.
But I think when you like owned you and became
That's
that
when I
more
started to get stronger, and
yeah.
I started to be like, you know what? Fine. Like, they don't want to get to know me. That's on them.
It's amazing what you attract when you're confident and
It's the
secure and,
energy.
like, genuinely, it's the energy, and it's like, and and I'm focused on school, so it's like, like I'm more just letting things fall into place as they go. I'm not trying to force anything anymore. Like, it's like, like, yeah, I'll talk to a girl, but like like I'm like a girl in my class maybe, but I'm also expecting like, okay, maybe we won't be best friends. Maybe we'll just talk for the semester and they're just gone, and like, and I think that's just part of life. And I think like, I liked to have control over everything that I could, because I didn't have any control over my disability. And I think that was like, um, something I had to like kind of figure out. I mean, my senior year, I ended up, I ended up like in a very stressful mindset. And I think, and I was like, okay, like this is not working, so we gotta try to find another way to like have that control, but not be, like putting your health at risk and your mind at risk and your, um, which I did. I figured out a few new ways. Obviously, I'm still type A for school, but but I'm getting more relaxed, and like I'm seeing other things around me.
So great.
I know. I love that.
So great.
I know.
She's such a young lady now,
I mean, I have great friends. I've support here. I've supported California, like like Missy and Elias have made such a big impact on me, and I don't think they even know how much they've done for me. Missy, like, she's always just been this cool older girl that I've always looked up to. And she's just like, she carries herself with such poise and like grace, and just like I don't give two fucks
She does.
in the best way.
Yeah.
Like I think she kind of gave me like a sense of that confidence. Like, like, carry yourself, don't care what people think, like screw them. So, and I think she's just such a beautiful person.
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
She is.
She is.
And Elias, oh my God, he's amazing. Like, he literally, he's just a go do it attitude. Like, just like go in there guns a-blazing. He just puts his best effort in everything. He, like, you can tell, like, in friendships, he puts his best effort in.
He does.
In his work, he puts his best effort in. Like, he gives like everything is all. Like, he doesn't half-ass anything. And that's like, that's such a beautiful trait to have. And he is an amazing person, and he's always seen me for me. He's always been very protective.
They both love you so much.
Mhm.
I mean, I love them like a lot.
It's been so special to watch all four of you like
grow up together.
It's been just special.
I
Very
loved Europe this summer when
Elias
especially
carried me, like, when because like Venice had a ton of stairs, and Missy and Elias traded off carrying me upstairs, and they're like, Missy literally looked, this was amazing. She was carrying me up in Puglia. We were going up to see those white houses.
Yeah.
And
I was exhausted.
I was like, Missy, we don't have to go all the way up there. She's like, no, she's like, you're not seeing one damn thing. And she like carried me. She's like, if you want to see it, we're gonna see it. And I was like, that was just so, like, it just shows how, how much they care about me, and how much they won't like, like, I don't know what of my friends would even do that. Like I can only name a few. And
that's a special
that's
thing.
a very special thing. And I think like having that bond with both of them has been, something I will never ever let go of, and I will never sacrifice anything for.
Yeah.
And Elias he is so observant, and he knows I'm like, I remember like going through an airport. We were about to see Copperfield,
Were we?
Copperfield, like the magic show.
Oh, in
And
Vegas?
yes, we were in Vegas, and I was kind of going a little fast down this ramp, and he I didn't even have to like ask for him. He ran in and got me. Like he just is so observant,
Aware,
and he's so aware. And I think like, you know, when that's, and obviously I don't have like time out, you know, I obviously don't mind asking for help, but like, you know, sometimes he knows I need help before I even like realize that, like, yeah, sir, you're going to hit that pole. So
I'm going to stop you.
You know, like, you know, because I am very, like, I could be very stubborn, and, you know, like sometimes I love to figure out things my own way, but, you know, it's nice to like have someone who realizes like, yeah, she's going to hit that pole.
Yeah.
She's going to hit that pole, and, you know, like go down and grab me. But, you know, I've been beyond thankful for both of those relationships in my life. Obviously you too. I mean, you helped me go to that cabin. I remember that, by the way. And you know, you're like, yeah, we're getting her in that river, Jen. You got me in that river. And, you know, like you guys, you know, your family has never, ever given up on me. Even like when we had to take a Cedar Sinai trip when we were towards schools. Yeah. So, you know, you guys
we love you. There's no giving up on any of us. We're all like a team. We're one for all for one. You know, it's great. We're just very fortunate.
We're very fortunate to know each other.
We're very fortunate. God, I wish these kids could all be on together.
I know they will. We'll get it. One day we'll time it right. I hope.
We will.
You guys are out living.
Oh, we will.
Living their best lives.
Doing everything you want to do. But we had this summer, which was so nice. And,
so
you know.
It was amazing.
It's so nice to see you guys just form an adult relationships, you know. And
I mean, you guys still all connect, even though, I mean, Melissa's across in the East and you're all the way in the West Coast, and Nate's traveling all the time for snowboarding, and Elias is in Salt Lake. I mean, but you all know what's going on in each other's lives, which is so great.
We constantly keep each other on tabs.
Yes.
It's great.
It's, you know, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
And I think that's probably the big takeaway here is just like nurture you just spend your time nurturing the relationships that are good and important and kind.
Yeah, and of course, like, I'll welcome other people in, but but you know, like I definitely prioritize the relationships I have, and the relationships that have proven over and over and over that they're authentic, and they see me for me. But then they also recognize, you know, my state, and they won't be, you know, like careless, because I have had friends that just like they see me for me, but then they just like drop a door in my face and they just forget, like, you know, and that's, you know, like that's also like, you know, cool, like they see me as like, you know, a ordinary person, but I mean that's also not true. So
it's just not being aware.
It's not being aware, and
right,
you know, and that's like, and that's, you know, it's.
They'll learn. They will. You know, because obviously the intention is not to shut a door in your face, but once
of course not.
Right. So like it's like you learn. Like we're just
it's not malicious.
It's just it's not malicious. It's just part. You know, it's not part of their day to day.
Exactly. It's just not. You know, but like I mean, what person does grow up around like it? You know, it's not as common.
It isn't, but you will be surprised, I bet, how impactful you have been to certain people, and certainly my life.
Certainly my life. Certainly my children's life. Certainly Nate's life.
You've changed a lot of lives without in great ways.
Great ways.
I mean,
thanks.
And I'm so proud of you, and and as your mom, you know, worrying, and you know that you're going to be okay, and you've just proven me. I mean, you've always surpassed my expectations. Like every time, you've just done better than I've ever thought you could.
You've just thrived at so many things.
I've driven a car.
Yeah,
I can drive a car.
We talked about that. Remember that 15-year-old conversation? Yeah. I mean,
it's like every little milestone.
I've gone to college out of state.
You did.
On a hill.
On a hill.
And you're driving around LA.
And
I mean, I go on weekend trips.
And you're doing great.
I can do it.
You're flying, get on airplanes. You're doing the whole thing.
Like, you know, and of course, like, you know, I have you to thank for that. Like, I wouldn't have all these doors open without you. and a mother who, cares about her daughter as much as you do.
Well, I do.
And
you know that.
we've been best friends forever. We always will be.
Yep.
It's great to have a parent that, really, is willing to go to Mass General to see the best surgeon in the world. It's nice to have a mother that, will constantly put my needs first before hers, and, will sacrifice anything to, make sure I'm happy and make sure I'm well.
That's what I want.
And, that's not normal. So I'm very lucky.
Well, I'm equal. It's all
Like very lucky.
Full circle. Yeah.
full circle.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What advice would you have for people who have for an average viewer who has somebody in their life with SMA?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they have, someone, just always be empathetic, try to be there for them, and, but also, be confident in them. I'm confident, most of the people that I know, and who, not even outside of SMA, my friend who has cancer, I know she's so strong. And I think they will get through it, if it would be that safety net of support. But I think they're strong enough to do it. And that's coming from someone who's been through it. And I think that sense of comfort is always going to be there for them. Like my mom, Elias, Kelly, Nate, and Missy. But it's also be pushing them to explore more, I think is the best thing. Keep those doors open. That's what I would say.
And don't give up.
And don't give up. Absolutely not. No.
Because you can do
Have
things,
a goal.
right?
Have a goal. I mean, my goal this year is to take up, I want to do Pilates once a week. That's my new goal. And we'll see if I do that. And, and do something that you think is impossible. And there's I want people to know there's always a way. I learned how to horseback ride. I learned how to rock climb. I went camping. I did whitewater rafting.
I was going to say.
I have done my fair share of what I thought was impossible. Okay. And do research. I've skied. Okay. I mean, there's always a way. And I want people to know that, it's not impossible, and there's always resources out there that can help you find a way. Friends like Elias took me rock climbing, and that was so much fun. So, there's friends to help you. There's resources out there. Don't give up. Set an unattainable goal.
I think that's a great thing.
You could do hard
Set a
things.
goal.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Everybody should live by
Everyone
that.
should live by that. Do something that you think is impossible and live by that. I thought rock climbing was going to be impossible. Elias was like, nah, we're going out there. We're trying it. And I was like, okay.
So you did it.
And I did it. So, you gotta, stay positive and, find that silver lining. Because the sadder and more sulkier you are, the more you're going to take the life you have, for given. And I don't think for granted and a given. And I don't think that's a good way to live. I think, you're okay, the situation kind of sucks, but I'm given all of these resources and I am going to find a way. So
Like it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Positivity.
Great.
Thank you for coming today, Sarah, and
We love
talking
you
to
so much.
love you too.
Can't wait to
I
have
just,
all of
and if anybody has any questions, we
If
really,
I'd be happy to answer them.
we really
Yes.
would. CureSMA.org is probably the best organization to learn about SMA and donate. And there's been some wonderful scientific research and great therapies now, gene therapy.
Is on
Some
the
wonderful,
horizon.
some things have really happened a lot over the last 20 years. And,
And they're
and
going to
the,
get more.
and you're going to work on this. So,
That's
I
what I want
mean,
to do.
so it'd be great. Let's, put some cures out in the world, but
If there's any other rare diseases and
yeah,
any other kids who watch this have any other questions about
anything.
living alone or
Just
advices I may have
navigating through school.
I'm all ears and I'm completely open to chatting.
That'd be great. So please like, subscribe, and share.
Thank you.
And it really does help if you share our channel with others, other moms, all the people to
Moms,
get us out
menopause
there
people,
and
children,
just, we just want
everyone.
to start conversations, talk to interesting people, and make the world better,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely. One day at a time.
One day at a time. We're getting involved, Kelly.
We're always getting involved. I love
Okay,
it.
so you'll see us soon on the road in Colorado.
Yes, we're on for an adventure, leaving a couple days from now.
Yeah, so we'll recap.
We'll recap.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
That'll be fun. Well, thank you, everybody.
JK.
JK.
This is
It's not about you.
Till next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this week's episode of JK, It's Not About You.
You can write in and ask your questions on our show's Instagram page at JK, It's Not About You, and we will address your questions on the next week's episode.
If this episode helped you, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family.
Share the fun with all those that can benefit from a good laugh or cry with us.
Please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we would greatly appreciate you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.